First chance playing at this stadium for Michael Vick and the 24-year-old as the Atlanta Falcons winning this game 14-10. Great effort by the Falcons defense today. UPS delivers a chance to win the ultimate home football experience. Just log on to foxsports.com on MSN. The numbers for Vick: Tiki Barber had another big day, 100 yards on the ground on 21 carries, and Algie Crumpler with his first 2-touchdown game in his NFL career. Post-game show is coming up for Pam Oliver, Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth. I'm Joe Buck. Congratulations to the Atlanta Falcons as they win today at Giants Stadium. They're 8-2. The Giants back to 500 at 5-5 on Eli Manning's first day as a starter in the NFL. Post-game show coming up now.
رمضان على قناة الصفوة. برامج دينية وثقافية متنوعة وأثرية. رحلات ممتعة عبر التاريخ والجغرافيا ضمن برامج وثائقية عربية وعالمية. أجمل المسلسلات التاريخية. رمضان على قناة الصفوة، دائما أحلى.
Week 11 of NFL prime time. The Manning brothers in the spotlight. Peyton chasing Dan Marino's TD pass record and catching up back. Eli takes the reins for Big Lou. While Big Ben runs into some big trouble in Cincy, Drew Henson's Dallas debut caps a day of frustration for Tuna in Baltimore. Broncos and Chargers tied in the AFC West. Denver lays it on early in New Orleans, while San Diego looks to blow out the Raider Nation again. In the NFC East, would it be another romp for Philly, this time against the Skins? It's an early football feast on NFL Prime Time.
NFL Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to NFL Primetime. Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson. We're early, but it's better to be early than late from all of us. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving out there. It's a thanks of sorts to some of these ball clubs. We try to sort some things out here. Crunch time now. Crunch time.
Well, yeah, crunch time, and a lot of teams giving thanks that they had a chance to walk away today with a win. Didn't look that way the whole game.
You know what? One of the divisions, the NFC Norris, a division in which 4 teams are within 1 game. That includes Eddie Drummond and the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. So why would we show Drummond? Well, 2 punt returns in the 4th quarter last week. Opening kickoff, and he could go all the way. Jose Cortez, number 1. I don't think he's going to get. Are you kidding me? He returned. My goodness, he is now tied NFL record, more than that in a moment, with 4 returns. He's this year's Dante Hall. 4 kick and punt returns this season. Dante Culpepper right back to Jermaine Wiggins from
East Boston.
And watch this. 2 out of 3 falls to curfew, and boom. He's for the pin, for the knockout. We're tied at 7. So Cortez goes, we're going to pooch kick this from now on. And so as a result, they get it up to the 40 that way. Lions good field position down to the 1. Joey Harrington, play action to his tight end, Steven Alexander. Touchdown, 14-7 Detroit, who's had trouble scoring. Then, defense Detroit. Corey Redding tackles Ontario Smith the day they play the Grey Cup. Ontario sacked for a safety. 19-7 Detroit. But I like this. Dante Culpepper leadership gathers the offense around. Let's get going.
And I don't know if that's something we would have seen a couple of years ago. Now he's the leader of that football team.
And here's what you're seeing here. A 16-play drive culminating Culpepper to Nate Burleson. They go for 2. They get it. 19-15 Detroit lead. Then, 3rd and 12. 6.5 left. Culpepper looking for Larry. Looking for Curley. Finds Mo. Mo Williams. Down to the 1. First down. And then, it's a touchdown by Mo. And it's 22-19, the Vikes. So Detroit now trailing. First time today. Joey Harrington picked off by Antoine Winfield. And the Vikings spot the Lions a large lead and come roaring back and win it by the count of 22-19. So Minnesota snaps their 3-game losing streak. Detroit has now lost 4 in a row going into Thanksgiving. And Joey Harrington, 12 in 1991. What?
You know, it just looks like Joey Harrington is regressing as the season has gone on.
Here's a guy who's not regressing as the season goes on. If you think of the 2 punt returns in the 4th quarter last week that Eddie Janitor in a Drummond had against Jacksonville, they played a little overtime in which the Lions lost the game, and then the opening kickoff, which just took a matter of mere seconds today. Now check this out. 18 minutes and 47 seconds, and this guy is
pretty good.
This guy's pretty darn good. Meanwhile, other side of the line, congratulations to him, but Detroit not getting the wins. Minnesota, hey, they can win this division. They can win it 6-4.
Well, and you got Dante Culpepper working without his best weapon in Randy Moss, and I thought he did a great job today of spreading the ball around. 7 different receivers, 22 of 32 for 233 yards passing the football. And I think that he understands clearly if they're going to get to the playoffs, he might have to do it for a while. You know, I don't know whether aggravated hamstring, whatever it is, he might have to do it without Randy Moss. And so I think the football team is getting you used to that. And I love the animation on the sideline where he took control of the football team. Let me tell you what we have to do in order to get a win. Well,
and again, they snapped the losing streak, and so Minnesota's played well the last couple of defeats, but that's not good enough. Now they almost lost this one. Now they roll. They're back to the Vikes at least for 1 week. Now, when we return, Donovan McNabb and the Eagles, we saw their response Monday night after their first loss. How would they do against division foe Washington? Donovan spreading it around. And Ben Roethlisberger, he's running real fast because the Bengals had him running real fast. But Ben Roethlisberger wins his 8th straight game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll be right back.
NFL Primetime. Presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great-tasting low-carb Miller Lite. And in part by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
Each week.
The Arizona Cardinals could be 500 at Thanksgiving. Dennis Green's squad has been hot lately, but Dennis decided to change a quarterback. More on that in a moment, as is the fullback Casey Kramer blocking for Nick Goings. And Goings, he could be Goings all the way. So Carolina down to what, their 5th running back, 57 yards for a score, and Carolina leads Arizona 14-0. Sean King starting instead of Josh McDowell. And King's pass tip picked up by Colin Branch, and he could go all the way. Oh, down to the 1
line.
But they got it in, and Carolina goes on to slice and dice Arizona 35-10. Goings at 121 yards. So tears of McDowell benched.
Yeah, and you know that questions are going to be asked of Coach Green, even though Sean King threw for 343 yards, the touchdown.
Garbage
3 INTs are going to stand out. You won 3 out of 4 games. You made a change at quarterback.
Meanwhile, the San Francisco 49ers. Here is their highlight. Bad news for them, it's a punt. Andy Lee punting for the Niners in Tampa at the new Sombrero. Look at it, keeps goings and goings and going. 81-yard punt. But unfortunately, you can't score on a punt. Canada, you could.
And they would punt again?
No, they would punt again. Meanwhile, Tim Rattay picked off by Torrey Cox. Very quickly, 55 yards for the Bucs. So Rattay picked off, and watch the block here.
Yeah, Simeon Rice come back and throw a great block on Justin Smiley, who wasn't smiling after that block, lifted him right off his feet. But, you know, Tampa Bay playing with a lot of enthusiasm, and Brian Greasy leading the pack.
So on this one, Tom, great defense, Tampa Bay. I know they're playing the Niners, 35-3, holding them to 197 yards. They had 5 sacks. Good news, Joe Jurevicius. Remember what a clutch receiver he was the Monday night? He scored 2 touchdowns. First time he's been in the end zone since the Monday night opener a year ago in Philly. He's had a tough run back.
Great story.
And the Niners' worst start since 1979 at 1-9 since I took over the team then and things got better. Peyton Manning. He can't get much better than him. How many touchdown passes for him? Curtis Martin running for the record books, and the Jets trying to run with the clock. Could they win in Cleveland?
ESPN, and the hits just keep on coming. The legend of Brett Favre continues to grow. The Packers are riding a 4-game win streak when they head to the Lone Star State to tackle the Houston Texans. Packers, Texans, live tonight. Then, the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots take their 8-1 record into Arrowhead to face the big-time offense of the Kansas City Chiefs. Packers, Texans, live tonight. Patriots, Chiefs, live Monday on ESPN.
Each week, ESPN has your ticket for the best in sports. Mondays, fulfill your need for speed as we bring you the best in two-wheel, open-wheel, and off-road racing. Thursdays are action sports days with the wildest moments of X Games and beyond. And remember, ESPN is always your home for the great outdoors with hunting, lumberjacking, and some of the biggest fish you've ever seen. The best in sports each week, only on ESPN.
Chevrolet Fantasy Ticker is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American revolution.
You can take your pick with the numbers of the Indianapolis Colts. One of them, only 9 teams in NFL history have scored 500 points in a season. They're on pace. Peyton Manning, 31 touchdown passes. You know the record. Touchdown passes in the year. Dan Marino, 48. And on we go. What kind of stampede will we see today from the Colts going into Chicago? Has played some good defense, that's for sure. So there's Peyton, 31 TDs in 9 games. So what happens first possession? Marcus Pollard with a little dink, and then a dunk. And it's 7-0 Colts that quickly. In Chicago, a team that's played well, but a team that has trouble scoring points. You already have them on their back heels, although twice, Tom, Lance Briggs had a chance. And then with the Bears down 7-3 on the following kickoff, they had another chance, and Chicago's been so opportunistic on defense and special team. Dominic Rhodes at the fumble. Todd Johnson. Oh, and he can't grab it, so it's Colts ball.
Yeah, you try to fall on the football, get possession, don't try to pick it up and take it anywhere.
And so as we look back at it, that was really their only shot. So Manning makes the Bears pay. Reggie Wayne, stately Wayne, pretty pass, you think?
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. Now 14-3 Colts. Edgerrin James. You kind of forgot about him a little bit. Twist. Look at this. Whoop! And look at the whoop! And then here's another move, and he goes, whoop! This is the Edgerrin James that we remember. Big day for Edge. After the Bears lost the fumble deep in their own territory, can't do that with this team. Manning to Marvin Harrison, touchdown, 24-3 Indianapolis.
Yeah, and you watch the corner here. He gets threatened in the flat by Edge right there. He comes off the coverage too soon. Safety can't get over. Easy pitch and catch for Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning.
27-3 at the half. This time, 27 yards to Wayne. Manning his 4th touchdown pass of the day. 34-3 Colts. Then Edgerrin James. Now we should point out that Edge, that's the last of his 23 carries for 204. They win the game, obviously going away 41-10. Manning sat almost the whole 4th quarter. James did the same thing, and they put up this bunch of numbers. The Indianapolis Colts now, as a team, have scored 339 points in 10 games. And, Tom, here it is. I mean, just look, I know the pace thing is, but Dan Marino threw 10 games in which he threw 48 touchdown passes in 1984, had 29 TD passes. Peyton, 35. How many is he going to get?
Yeah, I think he's going to score well over 50, 52 plus. But when you look at the weapons, when you look at Pollard, Clark, Reggie Wayne, Harrison, Edgerrin James, he's got more weapons maybe than anybody who's ever played the game.
So the Colts have won. They began the day tied for first with upstart Jacksonville. Once upon a time when Steve McNair was playing all the time for the Titans, and he's missed some games this year because of an injury he suffered earlier in a loss to Jacksonville. The Titans used to own the Jags. And like the old days, McNair to Derek Mason, that's what we remember. 10-3 Titans in Jacksonville. But Jacksonville, game as they've been all year. It's come back 13-10. And look at Deke Cooper make a great play and keep the ball. They finally down at the 4. And so what happened?
Yeah, faulty blocking scheme here. Greg Favors going to come off the edge. McNair backs up right there, gets himself in the end zone. He is hit untouched by Favors. That's going to be a safety.
And so the score now 15-10. Jacksonville, God, they make some big plays in the 4th quarter. On 4th and 1, McNair to Aaron Kinney. They throw for it 21 yards plus a face mask flag on the Jags. Then Antoine Smith. Remember him a few years ago? Patriots, before that, Bills. Antoine Smith, the big back now with Chris Brown hurt on this day. Smith had 95 yards, and so it's 18-15, and they go for two. Look at McNair. He pulls in, barely gets in, 18-15 now on a two-point conversion. Last chance, but Byron Leftwich watches as David Garrard, not the same magic as Leftwich, at least not on this day. Rich Gardner picks it off, waters the plants, and McNair and the Titans win a big game. I know they're only 4-6, but you never know. They stay in the hunt somewhat. Tennessee 18, Jacksonville 15. Earlier this year was 15-12. I think these teams slug it out.
Yeah, not great numbers for Steve McNair, but I think we all have to realize how he's gutting it up to get out on the field and play. I can't imagine that he's not hurting every single play of the game.
And so Jacksonville falls to 6-4, game behind the Colts. The Jets, Herm Edwards, under fire. The Jets, for them, blowing a chance to maybe win the game at the end last week against Baltimore, settling for a tie because of clock problems. Early on, Quincy Carter and the Jets had Browns problems. Cleveland Browns problem. Tommy was sacked 5 times early.
Yeah, you see 3 men coming from the left side. It's 3 versus 2. They bring more men and you have a chance to block, and they pin Quincy Carter in the pocket. I thought they really did a great job of getting upfield, the ends, whoever was rushing, making sure they didn't give him any lane to the outside, pinning him inside, and getting the sacks on him.
5 sacks first half, 6 in all for Cleveland. Meanwhile, Jeff Garcia under pressure for the Jets. Throws it away. Sean Ellis drives him to the ground. Garcia would leave with a strained right shoulder. Kelly Holcomb would take over just before the half. Now, Phil Dawson had made 27 straight field goals, but he missed not only once for Butch Davis, but with the score of 7-3 Browns in the fourth, he misses twice. So the Jets, needing breaks, a tough spot on the road, get rare misses from a normally reliable kicker. Even the mascot, what? Then the Jets, later fourth, Curtis, my favorite Martin, picks up a first down, and oh, by the way, he rushes for 1,000 yards for the 10th straight season. Oh, by the way, he passes the great Hall of Famer Tony Dorsett for 6th all-time. Congratulations, Curtis. Then, Quincy Carter, Justin McCarron. We just saw Tennessee. He made big plays for them. Now he's making big plays for the Jets. First down. Look at McCarron's make the move on Leon. Touchdown. Carter hits him with a touchdown. 5.5 to go. The Jets lead at 10-7, and they go on to win it by that score. Dawson, we said normally reliable, not on this day, and a big win for Herm Edwards' New York Jets as they win at 10-7. Martin, 88 yards. That 1,000 yards makes 10 for 10 in his career. Only he and Hall of Famer Barry Sanders began their NFL career with 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Now, the other thing on Martin is, so we go inside the numbers. We told you now with 12,741 yards, he is 6th all-time rusher. We told you Martin and Sanders began with 10, Walter with 10, Emmitt Smith has 11. So this is the type of player and the type of effort you get from Curtis Martin, as we know. And Tommy, when you lose a tough game at home and then go on the road, that may be the toughest spot, and look what the Jets did. Wasn't pretty, they won.
Yeah, we saw it a couple of times this year already. Seattle lost to the Rams. They went on a bit of a slide. You know, Indy was at home against the Jags. They lost that game. They went on a bit of a slide. I know that was a concern for Coach Edwards. We go into a tough place to play. Cleveland, we're going to have to play a good, solid football game, but I think a lot of times it's beyond the stats, it's beyond scheme. It is all the way down to mindset, and I don't think there's anybody who does a better job of getting his team in the right frame of mind than Herman Edwards. He did that. They got away with a win. You know, they got a couple of breaks in terms of the special teams, but they got away with a win.